behind, they might take a risk and end up on top, or might end up further behind. That's just kind of the way Randomizer works.
That's the nature of the gamble. Every time you take one, it's either you're going to put you far ahead or it's going to put you way back. It could be either way, or it could just leave you right where you're at. You never know.
Yeah. A lot of times risks end up either, if the risk is good, I thought this was open mode. I'm personally glad that it's not open mode. I really like standard mode because it's, at least in a broadcasting setting, gives us a chance to give a rundown on what Link to the Past Randomizer is. And real quick, we have a map check already. Eastern Palace is a red pendant and red crystals in the other two dungeons. So Light World is Red World today.
That's could be beneficial to them. Tells them a little bit of information, not a whole lot right off the bat.
Yeah, the more crystals you see on the Light World map generally tends to be a bit faster seed, unless you get something trolley tucked away. So we'll be starting off with a random item, which happens to be hammer in this case.
That's
really
my
good.
Favorite weapon to get from the uncle right there.
Yeah, definitely does some, and hook shot. That is fantastic. So once they get access to Death Mountain, they're already in Tower of Hera. Anyway, hammer's one of the best things to have starting off, because in order to get into the Dark World, runners will need hammer, glove, and moon pearl, or 2 gloves and moon pearl, and they're already a third of the way there just from the first item, so that's pretty good. If this is your very first time watching A Link to the Past Randomizer, well, you're in for a treat. And wow, so much is happening already, despite it being standard mode. So the prize packs are shuffled around. That means the random drops that come from enemies will be different from the original, or what we call the vanilla game. And if you stun an enemy and kill them in the vanilla game, you'll get a single green rupee. Well, in this case, in this particular role of the randomizer, it's a bomb, which is huge because it allows the runners to check 3 extra chests on their way out of the Hyrule Castle here.
And that's just going to be a time save in the end, because nobody wants to come back down to escape after they already left it.
Yeah, it takes a really long time to come back and check it unless you find a glove. So anyway, Link to the Past Vanilla probably grew up and learned to love it as a kid. It's been out for over 25 years now, just celebrated their, what is that, silver anniversary?
Yeah,
their 25th anniversary.
Another piece of hard
we are celebrating the rapture that A Link to the Past has brought to us by turning it into a whole new game, shuffling all the items around, giving us a new experience every time we play. The runners will have to get those items randomly, the hookshot and the hammer already off the bat, and use their wits to figure out which locations can I go to next with these items that I've got.
Get some hammer strats on this night here.
Yeah, only 2 hits. 2 pots, 2 tempered sword hits, or 2 hammer hits. The hammer is equivalent to the level 3 sword in this game. And Invictus doing a half and half. 1 pot, 1 hammer.
Can't say I blame him there. It's a safe strategy.
So Chexhuman has not checked the stun prize yet, so he's probably going to be going crazy looking for that bomb before he delivers the princess to the sanctuary.
The question is, what will happen after they rescue the princess?
Well, I think if they find Glove, we might have a very early Death Mountain check, possibly even before going to Kakariko Village.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, here we go. We're going to a stun price check from Chexhuman. Very wise.
He got nothing. That's odd.
I am going to guess that the guard unfroze right before he got hit. Now, Chexhuman knows something's up. That whether that guard drops a bomb or a rupee, he should drop something, right? If you stun him.
Yeah.
So.
As far as I know, yeah. But he's getting them now. He's got 2 bombs now.
Nice. So really only need 1 bomb early on. They're going to need 3 or 4 by the time they get to the village. But with a consistent way to get bombs, that's not even going to be a worry for them. So Kakariko does have, 12 items, so...
Yeah, they're bound to find more bombs there, which I know Invictus loves to find bombs. It's his favorite item.
Oh, you.
A little bit of sarcasm there in the early going.
Invictus has expressed his dislike of finding bombs as the first weapon. So finding bombs early is good. Getting bombs instead of a real weapon from Uncle, not so good.
There's a big 8 drop for both of our runners there.
Yeah, that's huge. Forget about that stun prize.
Another $5. That's getting them well on their way to Zora.
Chexhuman a little low on health. We might see him employ some hookshot strats. A hookshot, I think a hookshot will kill the rat, so that'll make it a little easier to get this key. Rat was a bro, ran right toward him anyway.
That's fine.
And Invictus showing off that yes, you can use the hookshot to kill the rat.
Alright, Chex is going to show us what we're going to get here.
There's the map, so let's hope the runners do remember to pick up the chest inside the sanctuary as well.
Yeah, the way it works here is all the items that are in this dungeon are shuffled all around. So we've already found the compass and the map, which means that there's still one item left. And we also found the big key, of course, on the guard downstairs.
Chexhuman pulls the right lever. That is not random though. That's
The correct lever?
yeah.
And another $5.
Alright, so with this many bombs early and knowing that bombs are on stun prize, do you think that the runners will bother to check the tree pool, just to find maybe some rupees off of it?
I gotta say, yeah, a big 20 coming out of that tree pole is huge at this point, especially when you're so close to getting the bottle vendor item. But maybe Bush Crab will have it. You never
I'm
know.
not up in the air about it because they're going to go to Blind's hideout first, and that's 30 rupees for free right there. But Chexhuman does check the tree pool. More bombs. Invictus took a slightly different route into the Lost Woods. He's going to check the 2 items. Maybe he figured out this route's a little faster with hookshot, since he is using that to get through here with a little bit of speed.
Did not see what Chex found on the ledge there.
So this cave that Chexhuman just popped into, this is very important to find out. Okay, and a bottle for Invictus inside the Thieves' Hideout.
That'll
That's going to allow another
nice.
item in Kakariko Village. It looks like a heart container in the Lumberjack Cave. So, the important knowledge there allows them to know they will not have to kill one of the game's mini-bosses, Aghanim, in order to get that item. And so in order to get that item that Chexhuman checked in Invictus passed, that requires killing Aghanim and getting the Pegasus boots. Killing Aghanim is not only time-consuming, but does have other repercussions that could add incremental time throughout the course of the run, such
Sprinkles
as harder
a few extra
enemies
guards.
Yeah.
It's just it makes it a little more difficult when you're in the overworld.
And there's a red cane already for Invictus.
And
it's not progression yet. It won't open up any new item locations, but it does make quite a few things easier. Especially without having a sword, it'll make navigating through dark rooms a breeze. Little high five in the Blind's hideout here.
You typically see those high fives in Kakariko this early in the seed anyway.
Yeah, we did have a slight route divergence with Chexhuman looking at the Lumberjack Cave and Invictus deciding to pass it up. Possibly going to check it when he decides to go up to Death Mountain.
Let's see what Invictus finds down in the well. Another $5. And arrows. He's looking for that bow for all those arrows he's finding. Oh, there's the blue mail. That's nice. Big 20. And another arrow upgrade, of course.
Okay, so powder from the bottle vendor. This, along with hammer, opens up yet another item location within Kakariko Village.
No chicken clip from Invictus.
Yeah, a lot of runners will pick up a chicken and throw it into the wall as it's exploding. Just a little bit of swag.
There's our lift upgrade.
Yeah, so That gives them access to the Dark World, but without Moon Pearl, they won't actually be able to do anything. And it's really like, see who remembers to check Sick Kid, see who remembers to check Magic Bat right now.
Flippers from the Sick Kid. That's how he got sick. He's probably got pneumonia.
Yeah, we're swimmers here. I mean, pneumonia is probably more serious, though.
I'm not even sure what swimmer's ear does to you, but it's probably not a good thing.
Invictus looks to be heading straight to that Magic Bat.
Not a bad play. That's probably what I would do too in this situation, knowing that you got the powder that early.
Mm-hmm. And this is one of the things that you have to do as a randomizer runner. You have to reevaluate your inventory every time you pick up a new major item. And you might have to reroute on the fly. And that is a sign for both of these guys going straight to Magic Cave. That is a sign of a seasoned randomizer player.
Ah, of course, it's a nice bundle of bombs for Invictus there, and Chexhuman is going to be picking them up just shortly after that. Looks like we're going to go down to the south of Kakariko, check out the library.
Yep, this will not be obtainable without the boots, but knowledge is power in these randomizer seeds. So even
Knowledge
without
at the
being able
library
to-
is useless.
Yeah. Even without being able to pick it up, he can check it off of his mental tracker and know that he doesn't have to come back here. And single arrow, you're not gonna get that.
It's a highly valuable item.
That's just a meme. But
Useless to him without the bow anyway.
As much as I like to play around when I'm playing this game, I don't think even I would go that far out of the way to pick up single arrow.
If it was a 10 arrow upgrade, maybe. Maybe.
So Invictus, again, can't pick up that red rupee, but knowledge is power, and he knows he won't have to go to the Lake Hylia Island later. Immediately using his flippers to check Hobo, and I don't know. I still feel like a standard dam check from Chexhuman might be a little bit faster, unless Invictus is just going to forego the Zora item. He'll need 500 rupees, but there's 3 other items besides that Zora item that the flipper's unlocked. But okay, or maybe he'll.
Checks found in the dam there.
Maybe he was looking for a big 300. Yeah, nothing yet on checks either.
He was able to use the hook shot there to glitch through that block, which was nice, but I didn't see the item he pulled.
I think it was a heart piece. That little trick that Chexhuman pulled off saves him 2 screen transitions, so probably a good 5 to 10 seconds he saves.
Easily. Let's see if Invictus goes for it here. We can see it again.
Yeah.
And he nails it.
So as a block is moving, it doesn't exist, I guess. So you can shoot your hook shot right through it, hook onto that treasure chest behind it, and end up on the same space as the block and just kind of walk out of it. Normally you would have to push those blocks in a different way to get the chest from opening the dam. And 2 bottles in here, 2 blue pots and a bee already. That's
I guess it's an okay mini Moldorm cave. Doesn't really give us any progression though. Doesn't really point us where to go either.
Yeah, no progression but a ton of safeties. The potions kind of lose a little bit of value when they have only 4 hearts, but they've got the bug net, so a fairy would fit nicely in that bottle instead of a blue potion. Obviously, they don't want to waste the bee this early.
Of course not. You might need that for Mothula.
Yeah. I was thinking that it could replace a sword in certain situations, but not for Mothula, since you actually need a sword to get to Mothula.
Gotta cut those vines with something.
You know what would be an amazing use of bee? I've never seen anybody do this before, but say they want to go up to Death Mountain without the lamp, and they have to go through the dark room. They can use the bee. If they know where the keys, the bats spawn inside the cave, then the bee will gravitate toward them, and they'll know where they are. If they're relative to the bee, then they're relative to the bat, right?
That's true. I have never thought to do that, but it is true. Chexhuman picked up the bombos from the ice rod cave there, and Invictus is heading up there to get it himself.
Yeah, yet another item that is very good to have. They don't want to have to hunt that down later, but absolutely worthless right now. You can't even use it without a sword.
Yep, useless right now. Could be useless altogether. Not sure if we're going to need it to get into either of the 2 dungeons that could require it yet.
3 if you count Ice Palace. So
Oh, yeah, good call.
the final 2 dungeons, and if you look at the trackers underneath the gameplay, you see MM, that's Misery Mire, and TR, that's Turtle Rock. The 2 final dungeons of the game, and I say final tongue-in-cheek because
In
you can do them
vanilla
in any
mode.
order. The 2 at the end of the tracker. Anyway, those gold discs represent medallions. You see the Bombos medallion already picked up by both runners, so that could be the key to unlocking one or both of those 2 dungeons. It's going to be random. There's a 1/3 chance that it's Bombos, basically.
Looks like we're getting back on the same routing choices here.
Yeah, and it's
Nice
clutch
300.
300
Wow.
rupees. I think still just shy of being able to hit that 500 that he'll need to buy the item from Zora.
He's going to check the ledge, though, see if it's on there, I bet you. Looks like it.
Oh yeah, there's a even 50 rupee on there.
Oh.
Chexhuman trying to punch a crab. He's only 6 rupees away. He's going to go for a couple drops here from the Zoras and the crabs.
That's a good idea. I mean, you're this close to it. Otherwise, you're going way out of your way to route back up here again later.
Alright, Invictus will be able to check 3 items behind the old man Sahasrara in his little closet there, and up to 2 items in, 2 to 3 items in Eastern Palace. Possibly fewer if he's shying away from the dark room. So, in the original Link to the Past, you might not have realized that the lantern item gives you that light cone. It's 1 rupee away for checks. Just give it to the man. Oh man.
Yeah, that light cone is clutch if you don't know your dark rooms at all, which I do not know my dark rooms.
I am looking at a printed out piece of paper with the dark room maps. Anyway, the way the randomizer works now is outside of Hyrule Castle escape sequence, you don't get a light cone in the dark rooms unless you have the lantern. Now, those rooms can still be navigated if you are experienced to know how to get through them. The randomizer item algorithm, the way it places the items in the game, will never require you to do it, but you can still go through them if you have the skill, and doing something with darkroom navigation or through a minor glitch which is allowed in order to find an item, that's what we call a sequence break.
There's our
Holy
moon
crap.
pearl.
That farming absolutely paying off for Chexhuman. A ton of stuff just opened up with that moon pearl. And Invictus is diving into a pendant dungeon. Now, out of the 10 dungeons, 7 are crystals, 3 are pendants. Only the crystals are required unless there's special circumstances occur where items are placed. In
Unless other
general,
things are
you only
required.
need to do the crystals. There are situations where the pendants are required, but they're rare. The crystals are always required.
I can smell the pedestal hype in chat already.
Yes, as Spoonie's pointing out, one of those situations is the Master Sword pedestal, where you would normally upgrade your level 1 sword to a level 2 sword in the vanilla game. That's also a random item, and if it's something required to beat the game, then all 3 of those pendants will be required to pull that item.
All right, here comes Hype Cave. Let's see, we got a big 20 and 300 bucks.
Hey, I will not turn that 300
Ooh.
bucks down when I still
Mirror.
need those rupees to get into Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, you do still need them because Kiki the Extortionist will take them from you. But we got the the mirror and the lightning bolt coin, also known as the ether.
All right, so 2 out of 3 medallions found already, and that's a green pendant and a blue pendant. So green pendant is in Palace of Darkness. The reason there's a little asterisk next to it is because that pendant by itself actually opens up yet another item location. And the blue pendant is in Thieves Town, which is unfortunate because that's the one dungeon that Chexhuman can go in and is guaranteed a full clear.
Yeah, with the hammer, he is guaranteed a full clear, and the cane, of course, being able to damage and kill blind the thief.
So this is really good adaptation from Chexhuman. Since he found the mirror, he can use it to get into this cave south of the Haunted Grove. And that's another item check that he can pick up. Oh my, it's
There it
bow.
is.
So
that's gonna make clearing out Eastern and Palace of Darkness if he chooses to dip them.
Possibly, but they are both pendants. So that bow is still very nice to find. It's helpful against several bosses, and it is actually required to get through Ganon's Tower, the final area of the game. Chexhuman's popping into Swamp Palace, and every item that he has is what he needs to get in there right now.
Yeah, that's what the logic's telling him. You gotta follow it sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, mirror and flippers just to get in, hammer to get past the first chest, hook shot to complete it. He's got everything, and it's a crystal, and it has 6 items inside. This is brilliant.
I can't wait to see that boss fight. Hammer strats all the way.
Meanwhile, Invictus found Flute, and he is unstucking the duck. So, despite not getting that early Moon Pearl that Chexhuman got, he is going to be flying around. So, we'll see if that speed can catch him up to the progression that he lost early on.
Big movement upgrade there. That's what that is for Invictus. He's going to be everywhere now. Going right to Desert here. Going to check the ledge. Got a shield upgrade. And gonna go inside. Nope, can't go inside. We don't have the book yet.
Right.
Gonna check Agana's cave.
So Chad is already contemplating which items can possibly be on that Master Sword pedestal. Now, remember, if you're playing this game at home, the pedestal cannot hold an item that would be required to finish a pendant dungeon. So basically, that's just Lamp at this point. Since they have hammer, they have bow, they can do Thieves Town. The 3 pendant dungeons are completable once they find that lantern to navigate dark rooms. Heck, it could even be Quake, and Quake be required for one of the last 2 dungeons.
Yeah, the third wavy, or the wavy coin as it's called, yes, Quake. That could be anywhere. I was just thinking the tablets might be a thing too, but we don't have the book for those, or a sword even.
Right, and also with that book, they can read the Master Sword pedestal and see what item is there. So they don't, and again, knowledge is power, they don't necessarily have to do all of those pendant dungeons to find out what's there, if they find the book. Now, the really cheeky situation is, book could be that item on pedestal.
Ooh, yes. It could even be in Ganon's Tower too, so we might never see it.
Another big troll you might find is pedestal has shovel or pedestal has mushroom, which basically only serve to unlock one other item location.
Invictus did manage to successfully get the dark room done for the old man and picks up the red mail.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed he didn't use the bee to get through there, but what are you gonna do? When you have red cane, I don't think you're gonna use a bee to navigate dark rooms. Whatever. Fine.
That's called swag B strats, okay?
So Invictus will be limited. Oh, I lied. He has hookshot, doesn't he?
Yes, the second item he got.
Alright, coming up will be the item on top of Spectacle Rock. This will require Mirror for him to pick up, but I don't think he's going to bother coming back for those 10 arrows.
Probably not.
Inside looks like a 100.
A 100, I'm sorry, yes.
It's a little costly. That's a pretty big time investment just to get rupees, even if it is a big bundle of them. So he's going to head on over to Eastern Death Mountain. 7 items in the Paradox Cave, plus 1 in Spiral Cave, so...
He's able to grab all of them.
He is able to grab all of them. I think it'll make for a really interesting race if he finds boots over here, because that's going to mean Invictus found the fast movement early, but Chexhuman found the progression early. So it's going to really spice things up, I think.
Yeah, I think that'll really close the gap a little bit. Not that there's a huge gap there already, but it will definitely make a difference in that. But so far, he's got $10 for his trouble. There's a lamp on Chexhuman's side, so no more dark rooms for him.
Yeah, and this actually opens up the old man in the Death Mountain. Now, none of what Invictus is doing right now is a sequence break, as we described earlier. He did go through a dark room, but the dark room can be bypassed by using the flute that he found. Only the rescuing the old man himself is the sequence break so far.
And that was just the red mail.
So we're going to see a little bomb jump from Invictus. So one of the easier bomb jumps, you just stand in the right spot and throw the bomb down and you're good to go.
Is that technically considered a minor glitch, or is it just a thing that you can do?
The bomb jump?
Yeah, the bomb jump.
In that particular case, it doesn't allow you to have access to any new spots. In Ice Palace, for example, you can completely bypass the game expecting you to have Hookshot or Cane of Samaria. And in that case,
Gotcha.
I would call it a minor glitch. In this case, it's just, I guess it's a minor glitch, but it's just a little bit of a time save. Keep you from having to fall down and walk all the way around the mountain again.
Chex found the ice rod deep in Swamp Palace.
Yeah, the seed seems to be loaded with stuff I'm going to need later. Ice Rod has, I don't want to say no use because somebody's going to call me out and I'm going to get Swift Rages in chat, but it's basically useless until you get to the Dungeon of Turtle Rock.
Right.
Okay, but before I get Swift Rage, yes, you can use it to damage Land Mola, and without a sword, it might be the best option. Yes, you can use it to freeze enemies in dark rooms to help you navigate through them because it gives you a stationary point to navigate by. Alright, yeah, sorry guys.
Ice rod is
I
now.
corrected myself, don't worry, it's okay guys. Oh, we have the menu boss here.
I was just gonna say, the menu fight.
So, even with a level 1 sword, you don't want to fight this guy with a level 1 sword. So what he has to do is he has to use the hookshot to pull these puffs off of Argus, the name of this boss, and then switch over to Hammer to hit them. There is a little bit of a time-saving strat here if you can manage to pull off 2 puffs and hit them both with the same Hammer strike. Basically saves you half of the menuing time every time you do it. But it's a pretty risky strat as well, especially when you're rocking 5 hearts.
Meanwhile, Invictus is climbing up to face Muldorm here in the Tower of Hera.
Yeah, unfortunately, I did not catch if he picked up the map and compass. And since he's going to use the hammer to kill Muldorm, I don't think we're going to see a menu. So there is one item location that is locked off to Invictus. And if he can determine that it's a map or a compass, then good for him. If not, it's just going to be something hanging in the back of his head once he finds a lamp or fire rod.
I do believe in the other side of the basement, the map was hiding behind the blocks. So we at least know that one.
And there's that small key taunting him.
Now, does he check the basement or not?
He cannot without a lighting source.
That's true, yeah.
You have to light. So there's one other item location. Invictus will need an item to light torches to make the chest spawn.
Check's going back in for that big chest. He found the key on Argus.
Yeah, funnily enough, the big key not required to get to the boss in this dungeon.
Is it 2 dungeons where that's a thing?
There's Skullwoods, and there's sort of Ice Palace.
Yes.
You need the big key.
What are
Wow,
those?
definitely worth coming back.
Well, we know what Invictus is not going to find in the Spiral Cave.
And it's such a drudgery walking through this cave. Now,
Oh, it really is.
Chexhuman may put off that Eastern Palace play for quite a while now, since he has plenty of options in front of him. That's going to mean not finding the flute, so that is compounding the time that that Invictus. I'm sorry. That is every time Invictus uses the flute, he's chipping away at that lead that Chexhuman has. And Chexhuman is not likely to pick up that flute very soon, I don't think, with all these crystal dungeons available.
Yeah, I can't see him heading over that way. Even though he has the bow, and that would result in a full clear for both of them, I just don't see the need for it yet. If I am Chexhuman, you know, since they're both pendants. Victus going back up to Zora, it looks like. He's going to get his Moon Pearl. And
Yeah,
Chex
that's
is going to
good.
upgrade his to his red mail.
So yeah, Invictus is going to get the Moon Pearl. That'll give him Dark World access, and one of the most natural item locations to check as soon as you get Dark World access is what we affectionately call Hype Cave, which is where the mirror is. So Invictus might actually end up in Swamp Palace sooner than we thought. He might be in Swamp Palace before Chexhuman finishes clearing the mountain.
Using another one of our minor glitches there, sprint speed.
Yeah, the spin speed lets you basically go at the speed of a dash without the confinement of going in a straight line.
He's able to... Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say he's able to activate that by hitting both the sprint button and the hookshot button at the same time, and then touching a staircase. And then that allows you to run all over the map.
Mm-hmm. And it's also called spin speed sometimes because an alternate method of activating it is to press A on the same frame as doing a sword spin instead of doing the hook dash. Can't do that without a sword, though.
Right. Not even with the bug net, because you'd have to have the wrong thing equipped.
So, do you think these runners will find a sword before the 1 hour mark?
Well, I want to say no, because it'll be more fun to watch.
You can join the ranks of chat with that one, I think. Where do you want to see the first sword upgrade?
I would like to see the first sword upgrade on Blind, actually.
That was my thought precisely. I want to see a nice clean hammer or Cane of Samaria blind fight, and then they can be rewarded with a blade.
And that's the only way. That's the only thing I want.
All the other swords are in Ganon's tower.
That is possible, I think.
Yeah, since...
Oh, and there, I didn't even notice that Invictus had picked up the blue cane, as Chexhuman just now picked it up as well.
We'll know if Chexhuman goes... And Chexhuman actually had the mirror, so he can do Tower of Hera before the overworld locations, but... Ooh. He's going to have to switch to Hammer for Moldorm, so keep your eyes in the bottom right corner of his screen, see if the map and compass are there.
Refueling on health a little bit there.
So, until they get to Ganon's Tower, the only single place... hang on. No map or compass, so we can avoid the basement. And I guess he also skipped the vestibule chest? Got the big key in the peg prison and just, like, left and went upstairs?
No, the big key was on the vestibule, I believe. The map was in the peg.
Oh, that makes sense because he can see that and mirror away without having to pick it up. Okay, right, yes. So the only single location that the sword is actually required for, up until you get to the last boss fight against Ganon, is Skull Woods. So they unfortunately do need to find at least one sword before they get to Ganon's Tower.
That's also technically required if you were going to face Aghanim, but I don't think that's going to be a thing that either of our runners choose to do now.
Correct. With Hammer and Glove, they can access every point in the Dark World without having to kill Aghanim. So the only option left would be if that Lumberjack item was required, but just a heart container.
We get to see our favorite Sparkly Cane in action here as Chex checks the spike cave and is rewarded with $5 for all of his trouble.
Chexhuman did check Lumberjack. I don't believe Invictus did. I think he was intending to check it on his way up to Death Mountain, but then he found the flute, so completely skipped over it. Actually, he could have jumped down from Death Mountain after Harriet and checked it at that point, but still would have been a little out of the way. Sometimes runners are reluctant to route things in that aren't in their direct path, and I can't blame them. When they're in a race and when their tournament lives are on the line, they want to get things done as quickly as possible.
Definitely, you can't really fault either runner for anything at this point because they know what they're doing and they think it's their best option.
Yeah, they do have 3 wins under their belt after all. So Invictus and Chex are retracing each other's steps. Chex will have a decision to make after he picks up these 5 chests, however. And I guess he checked Spiral Cave on the way down, did he not?
I honestly don't know.
Maybe he didn't because he checked
I don't think
Spike Cave
so.
instead.
Oh, and there's the cape for him, so that doesn't really give him anything, but he's got a cape now.
It does open up the Bumper Cave location, and I don't think either runner has been to the west side of Dark World yet.
Yes, that is correct.
So, could be required, but it is a very nice luxury to have regardless.
It does open up the palace, that's true, but they won't find anything of progression inside of the palace.
Interestingly enough, it does not open up the palace. They can get inside, but they won't be able to get to Aghanim without a sword.
Right, that's true.
There's a curtain in the way, and as we all know, you can only open a curtain with a curtain rod. What are you going to use, your hands? I don't think so.
I'd use that nice bug net, personally.
My
Then I don't have to
headcanon
give you
is
away.
that they're not actually slashing the curtains down or pushing them aside with the sword. They're actually, there's like a little key slot at the top of the curtain, and they have to put the sword into that slot and rotate the sword and open it like Venetian blinds or something. It's not.
Of course.
It's not like they're just pushing it aside with a sword.
Is that not what
Come on.
everyone thinks? Is that not normal?
I think that was in the instruction book, actually.
Yes, back in 1992.
Yeah, nobody's gonna
Don't quote me
cross-check
on that. I don't
No
know
one's
if
gonna
that's right.
cross-check me. Don't worry about it. Chexhuman actually looks like he's gonna head in the pod, or at the very least, go to the pyramid and catfish. And Invictus is right on his heels. Once he finishes Argus, he just has to check Old Stumpy and that mirror cave south of Old Stumpy.
Yeah, Cave 45, as it's affectionately called sometimes.
That's basically what it's called in the code, and we didn't feel like renaming that one, I think is how that ended up.
Ah, I've always wondered that.
Yeah, every single cave has a number assigned to it in the code, and I don't know if we just forgot to name that one or what.
You wouldn't think, watching a lot of these, that there are actually 45 caves in this game, but there's a lot of places you don't actually ever visit in the randomizer.
I think all of the houses actually are counted in there as well.
Ah,
Like, even where Chexhuman is right now. Oh, the flute is
there's
actually
the flute.
Sahasrah's
I didn't
house.
realize that.
So, I still think he's going to head into these dungeons, though. The number one thing he's looking for now is Fire Rod. He will not need the book to get into Desert Palace until he gets well, if he gets Titans. Okay. Titans Mitts! As I was saying this whole time without interruption and did not err in any way in the least, Titans Mitts is the biggest item that these runners are looking for right now. That's going to open up more than anything else.
That'll more or less open up the entire seed, except for, of course, our sword.
Yeah, shout outs to Cyclone GU, who I think is doing the restream right now. And he's doing a very good job of paying attention and make sure no shenanigans go down. And Also, thanks to Iwakura Lane, who's doing the tracking for us tonight.
If you haven't already, I would suggest giving both of these runners a follow. They are doing an amazing job of staying very neck and neck throughout this race so far.
Yeah, it's their job to entertain us, and they're doing a heck of a job, so... They don't only play this game during tournaments. You will see them practicing or just doing runs or races for fun, or possibly doing other versions or modes of Link to the Past, so... If you like
which
what
there
you
are
see,
now several.
there's even one that includes Super Metroid.
There's the big key, and we're going to jump back down here and get this chest.
Thank you so much to our setup helper, Cyclone GU, who's just relaxing and listening to me make an idiot of myself right now. But all of the volunteers are definitely appreciated here. This, outside of the runners, the most important things to keep you this entertainment going, race streamers and trackers.
You would not believe how many people there are involved in just a little race like this.
Yeah.
I didn't before today.
Even people organizing the community and doing social media. People moderating the tournament. Just
Check's finding a map there.
tell you what, guys. Once the victor of this race finishes fighting Ganon and gets to the Triforce room, there's just... The screen's going to fill up with a bunch of names. They're going to be in Japanese. You might not know who they are, but they're really cool people that made this game 25 years ago. And then after those names, there's going to be a bunch of people that you should follow on Twitch.
I don't even know what to say to that. You're right. He's so right, everyone. Little mini Helmasaur getting an arrow for his trouble.
Cyclone,
Now,
did you try opening to the page that said need help and there's like a picture of Mario holding a wrench and there's like a hotline 800 number? Read that page word for word and tell me what it says about opening curtains.
Invictus is gonna do the South Dark World route, it looks like. Gonna check Old Stumpy in Cave 45 as we thought he would.
Yep, and he does have an opportunity to check a location that Chex has skipped for now.
That would be the Peg Cave, I'm guessing you're talking about.
Oh, did Chexhuman check the digging game?
Oh, no, also the digging game, that's true.
Yep, Peg Cave will be inaccessible without Titan's
Yeah,
mitts.
Titan's mitts, which could be at the digging game. But now Invictus has got his bow, and he really wishes he had that before when he was in Eastern. Our hammer box has bombs. That's where you get the hammer in the vanilla game. That's why I call it the hammer box.
Oh. You know, in the Japanese game, the text starts with the letters MC.
I would believe that. I would 100%.
If you ever watch anybody run a speed run of the vanilla version of this game, you'll see them open that chest and it says MC. And I can't read the rest of the text. I don't know a lick of Japanese, but I think that there's a joke in there about MC Hammer that's intended by the developers of this game.
Did you happen to see what was in the digging game that we were talking about so much?
It was just a bomb capacity upgrade.
Vital.
Fortunately, you asked as the restream came up, and I looked at my other monitor and saw it. But I don't want to give away all my secrets.
Note to self, get additional monitor. Got it. One of our favorite cutscenes in the whole game right here. The Igor wall receding into the edge of the screen.
It sounds like somebody like yawning and groaning. Like,
Or a very, very long and steady thunder roll.
oh. Oh man. Definitely wants to show off that ice rod usage.
I was just gonna say, there it is. Swag ice rod. Here we go.
That I guess it's a little faster than using the hookshot to hit that, and it might
That's
have even
fair.
been more convenient on the menu.
Yeah, it was a simple up press to get to it instead of having them navigate all over that thing. That menu is crazy. If you've never played A Link to the Past, that menu is one of the biggest obstacles in it.
So he does not have a sword. He's probably going to look to finish off this boss with bow. And still only 5 hearts for Chex, 6 for Invictus. They are very, very fortunate to have that red mail and cut their damage by 3/4.
This seed wanted to give you progression, not safety. Although, earlier we thought it was quite the opposite for a while.
Fast versus fun.
Helmasaur was holding, looks like $50. But more importantly, he had that green pendant, which he can now use to check Sarasala and see if what else he's got there.
I think he's probably going to do Eastern Palace first, but he'll have to be careful to place his mirror portal in it.
I do believe that A Link to the Past is considered an RPG. Not only because it has menuing, but because it has, you know, other things.
So, Chexhuman left his portal right outside the door, so he will either have to flute away or take an extra trip into the Dark World after he does Eastern and wants to make his way to Sahasrara.
Making good use of those boots, making that little ball hallway a lot easier to get down before the big one comes and smashes him.
Yeah, RPG is kind of a blanket term where, I mean, console RPGs and JRPGs and video games are a lot different from the types of games where that name comes from, like Dungeons and Dragons, where you're actually playing a role and playing a character and partaking in a story in a dynamic way. But, you know, some of the elements, such as leveling up, finding treasure, exploring, talking to NPCs, those things are all present in a lot of these video games. Now, this would be considered an action RPG since it doesn't have a turn-based combat system.
I didn't realize the difference there. I'm glad to have learned. You're a font of knowledge tonight.
Yeah, I did make a lot of stuff up just then, you're right.
I happen to be mostly impressed with your knowledge of the instruction booklet for this game, though, I must say.
Scene missing. Oh, Invictus doesn't have enough. Well, okay, so the bomb only does a quarter. This is okay. He's just gonna open the door. He can do a bomb jump there to get to that chest and route through the dark maze a little bit faster. But if he misses it just once, falling in the hole will do a full heart of damage. That damage not being mitigated by his red mail. The damage from the bomb will be, so it would only do a quarter heart of damage.
Oh, now he's full health. He powdered that anti-fairy there.
Yeah, and I do believe the map and compass have already been found in Eastern Palace, so the boss, Armos Knights, will hold the final item, and looks like
We did find some literacy there.
Oh yeah, how are you gonna read in the dark?
Yeah, hopefully he's got a little...
Station?
I was thinking he's got a little, one of those Game Boy Color lights from back in the day.
What do you think this is, Link's Awakening?
Oh, one could hope.
Oh, those Mario guys aren't ticklish. That is, the Dodongos cannot be damaged by hookshot. Sorry, that was a little crosstalk for a second there.
I was told, commentating with you, that I need to bring out my pun to English dictionary, but that even failed me.
Alright, so have you ever played Super Mario World? You know the guys in Chocolate Mountain, or even in the beginning of the game, I think there are some. They're like they're called Dino Torch. It's like a little green dinosaur.
Little mini dinosaur and it spits fire.
It looks exactly like those Dodongos in the Dark Maze, okay? So I just call them Mario guys for short.
I'm with you now. It's all there. I'll remember it for next time.
And some people, myself, including Vitor, one of the head developers of Randomizer, likes to call the hookshot tickle beam. So if it damages an enemy, that enemy is ticklish.
You can't argue with this logic, folks. You just can't. There's nothing you can say.
So,
you're
like
right.
I was saying, just an arrow capacity upgrade. Oh, he used some iframes to sneak past the... Okay.
That works.
Proved me wrong.
We're immediately going to cash that pendant in with Sarasala. See what this is. Aha, the red meringue. To go with his blue meringue.
So Thieves Town is a pretty good check in and of itself. It has 4 items, and that's the final pendant that he's going to need. I can't imagine he would go in there before using that book to check pedestal, but I think he already wants to see an item on that pedestal there.
Who doesn't want to see an item on that pedestal, other than the runners?
That's what I'm saying. Even the runners sometimes will hope to find that if they've invested time in pendant dungeons.
We're coming up on that 1 hour without a sword, though. It's looking like we might not get one.
Maybe Trinex drops the first sword.
Ooh. Oh, you're a cruel man. You're cruel.
Oh, please. It's an easy fight for anybody that's done low percent. Oh, he'd rather use that book to complete Desert Palace, which is very smart. It is a crystal, and it is a red crystal at that, which will open up 2 more locations on top of the pyramid. And
yeah, we've not had a pyramid check yet.
Yep, with boots. Oh, they didn't even check the outside pyramid item?
We've not had a reason to go over there yet.
I thought that Chex was working that way as he was heading up to Pod, but maybe he just went straight to Pod and didn't dilly-dally. Helmasaur not being as much of a bro for Invictus dodges one of his arrows.
How rude.
So this big chest for Chexhuman, either the big chest or the item on the torch will have to be a small key.
He is able to get it because he has the boots.
Yep. So, boots required to full clear Desert Palace.
Which means that it would have been boots locked had he not found them already.
Right, the next 2 chests he's gonna get on the east side of Desert Palace are locked behind the boots. As well as, technically, Landmola, the boss of Desert Palace, because I think the randomizer item placement assumes that you're gonna take the key from the second half of the dungeon and waste it here to get a compass or something.
I believe that to be correct, which it was a compass. And bombs.
And something.
So not coming out ahead there, but at least he knows it's done. Invictus using my favorite glitch that I can almost never pull off for some reason, making those Stalfos Knights reducing their numbers and they spawn in that room.
So while Invictus was here, he's opting to finish it out. It looks like he decided not to do the dark room the first time he was in here. So he can do that, he can do the boss. I would like to see him make a different play other than Desert Palace next. Even though Desert Palace is probably the best play, since it's a full clearable crystal dungeon, and that's always the right way to go.
Yeah, 100% the right way to go, but he might think he's a little behind, he might think he's a little ahead. That could very well change what he's going to do next.
Yeah, finding that Moon Pearl pretty late and knowing that it was on the table might put him in a mindset of taking more risks.
Yeah, see, that's not knowing Invictus's brain. He might think he's ahead because he found all that early movement stuff, but he might think he's behind because he found the Moon Pearl so late.
Right. And of course, the runners are forbidden to watch each other's streams or watch the restream or listen to the commentary because it would give them unfair information. So the result of that is that the runners have absolutely no clue where they are in relation to their opponent. It's kind of like if you ever play duplicate bridge, it's kind of like playing the first hand. Since in duplicate bridge, you compare your result to other people that are playing the same hand. When you're the first person to play that hand, you can only kind of guess how well you did. Until other people play that hand, you don't really know for sure if you've gained an edge over your opponents or not.
Chex is using all kinds of strats on these land molars, but he's got to watch his health. He's getting low. Well, that works.
I believe Ice Rod, it's 2 hits with the Ice Rod to kill each land mullet, and there are 3 of them.
I believe that is also correct. It takes 2 with the Fire Rod, so... I think they do the same amount of damage. I could be wrong on that. Four minutes away from no sword for an hour. Did we see Agana yet? I don't think... No, we haven't. Or no, we did see it. What was it? I forgot. Well, we're gonna find out. Bomb capacity upgrade. That's right. Invictus picking up his red meringue. And Chexhuman is going up the mountain. He's going to be fluting away from there. Looks like he's going to go back into the Dark World, probably check either Blind or Skull Woods. And Invictus is going to do the same thing that we just saw from Chex. He's going to clear out Desert. Bumping into that thief there, never a good time. Looks like Chex is actually going to do a pedestal check, everybody. Get your hype ready. Here we go. Looks like a B on the pedestal, so I'm doubting our runners are going to be going for that. The hype is dead. So after that pedestal check and B fine, now he'll be going into the Dark World, and probably, I think he's going to go down and do Thieves Town first, even though that's a pendant. But maybe with that knowledge that he just found, he might go up to do Skull Woods. Nope, he's not. Gonna go down to Thieves Town, alright. Alright, checking on the chest game here. Got an arrow upgrade and a heart piece. Down into our little bombable hut. I think this is called the brewery, actually.
Yeah, there's like little stills and barrels down there.
Yeah, looks like a brewery.
Maybe it's just a fun word to say.
It's not an easy word to say. I think I stumbled on it the first time. And we're going to check the C-shaped house. Wow. Little bit of love. Now, where will he head?
Yeah, and C is for Quattro Cardio.
There we go. Thieves Town. Here we go.
So the final pendant, and I unfortunately missed if Chexhuman did a little pedestal check before coming in here.
He did, and he discovered that it was a bee in the pedestal.
Well, maybe he
There's
can pick
the
it up.
fire rod.
Yeah, but with 4 swords at large, I'm really shocked he doesn't at least finish checking the... And this is unfortunate. If he's heading into Skull Woods, he's going to be disappointed at his inability to get to the boss.
I think he just realized what you were saying. Or at least thought better of going without checking at least these other 2 chests.
I think he even skipped one in the top left, didn't he?
He definitely skipped... No, he got the top left. That was the fire rod.
Oh, okay.
These 2
sure.
down here he hasn't gotten yet. I missed that one. And there's the map. So the other one must have been the big key then. Don't you know that the Four Swords Adventures was included with Link to the Past?
Oh, that was the version with Lame Ice Palace, wasn't it?
Yeah, it had that color dungeon or whatever.
No. I mean, the kids were too dumb to figure out Ice Palace, so let's make it easier. Dungeon.
Oh, did they change it? I didn't know that. I actually had that game, and that's the version of Link to the Past that I owned. I never owned this one as a child.
I remember getting this one for Christmas. Probably was maybe 6 or 7 years old. I think it was right after we moved to a bigger house. Not that that has anything to do with anything. Just that I'm old.
Invictus is fluting away, and he's going back home, and he's gonna come down. I don't know what he's gonna do. It looks like pod, maybe?
He did pod.
Oh, yeah.
This is
Southern-
curious way.
Maybe the southern route back to the village? No,
He's
he did
checked
that too.
everything except for the
Yeah.
digging game. This is a little out of the way to go for one item. Oh, did he already do desert? He's doing the pyramid fairy. Okay.
Oh, that makes sense.
And he can actually continue on and use his hook shot to get to Northern Dark World and check a couple extra spots there, including both items in the graveyard.
Hmm. I think now that we've seen things, I'd still like to see it on blind, but I have a feeling he's gonna find a sword in with the fairy.
Oh, that would actually be a vanilla location, technically.
Oh yeah, good point.
So in the original version of the game, you can throw your bow into the Pyramid Fairy Pond and get silver arrows. You can throw a sword in there to get the gold or butter sword. But that option has been replaced with a simple 2 chests in here. The runners will still be able to visit the fairy if they choose to throw a bottle in there. And it might be worth checking. Could get a free potion out of it.
Chat is all abuzz about the floor plan of your house. There's one of our favorite dad jokes from Blind.
So there's actually some good options here for blind now that they've got the blue cane, now that they've got the hammer. Well, they've had the hammer. That's literally the second item they got. But a few more hearts and red mail will make this fight a bit safer.
He also could have just used the blue cane and been ultimately safe. Although he doesn't have half magic, I think he still has one more blue potion though.
So Thieves Town turning out to be a bust after finding that fire rod.
Yeah, aside from that, completely useless. But the fire rod is required for Mothula. Well, I guess it's not required, but it will make that fight a lot easier.
Oh wait, Titan's Mitz was in there, huh?
Supposedly. They were in there someplace.
And And once again, shout outs to our tracker tonight. We would be completely lost without them.
So true.
Thank you, Lane Iwakura. Or Iwakura Lane.
Now we're gonna see what the breadsmiths have over here, and probably do Peg Cave before it. Yep. Surprised it's not going for the dash strats here, but this isn't that much slower.
Actually, the dash strats require a sword.
Oh yeah. Not worth it.
The chat's hoping to find a sword upgrade at the Dwarven Blacksmiths here.
Can't believe both runners checking two different places like that, and they both found $5. There's a big love and little love. Take Gary his lunch.
Maybe Invictus will take this opportunity to find that heart container on the blacksmith cave as well, or the lumberjack cave.
Maybe even check Bonk Rocks. I don't think he did Bonk Rocks yet. Looks like that's where he's going right now, yep. And the Bumper Cave.
Chexhuman actually did a really small optimization here where he moved to the left side of the screen after calling the duck. Because once the duck picks you up, it starts moving upward, and as soon as the duck's off the screen, you can teleport.
So an hour and 6 minutes in, almost 7, we have no swords, and we are basically neck and neck. Bomb upgrade from Gary. Bumper Cave was an arrow upgrade.
That's a troll. So, Chexhuman was able to use his book to find out what was on the Bombos tablet. And it's the shovel, which exists to open up another location, so basically he doesn't know what's on that tablet still.
Looks like he's gonna go up to check the other tablet, perhaps here, because I think he got. Or did he get everything on Dark Death Mountain?
Dark Death Mountain. It can actually full clear Turtle Rock as well, as long as he doesn't need Quake to get inside. I think that's the play to make. Trinux, if even without a sword, if he's up to snuff on his hammer strats.
I think since I didn't get my first sword on blind, I would now like it to be buried behind the shovel.
It can't be. Because you'd have to find 2 swords in order to get that item. But that would be the dream. Aw, what? Didn't even have to fight Trinux to get a sword?
Boo!
Well, fortunately, that sword isn't very useful against Trinux. Alright, so Invictus is about to follow in Chex's footsteps to check on Pedestal and then head into Village of Out. Yeah, wait, didn't we just do the chess game?
Yeah, I believe he did just do the chess game.
Okay. But he will have to do Thieves Town to get the gold glove.
And the fire rod.
Yes. And Chexhuman mirrors do actually have to enter Dark World from on top of this little plateau so that you can open up Turtle Rock. He's going to do so right now and probably head straight on in and give us a full clear. That's 5 items, I think, inside Turtle Rock.
Did you know
plus
that
the Mimic Cave.
Sorry, I was going to say, did you know that if you accidentally hit the wrong peg first and you realize it and you can't open the portal correctly, if you use your mirror to go back to the light world and screen transition that way, the game actually will not reset it for you, and everything you do will be wrong until you make an actual screen transition.
Oh wow, even if you hit the right peg, you'll get a
Yeah, I found that out the hard way.
Oh, that's funny. Unfortunate, but funny.
There's our first shield, well, our first collected shield anyway.
Invictus goes into Skull Woods, and he's going to hope to find a sword before he has to get to Mothula.
He's got decent odds on finding one, I'd say, at this point. They've checked, I think, all the overworlds except for Catfish.
Okay, so he can actually get the next 2 items. He can go on to the obelisk and get the chests within the final part of the dungeon. And between that and the big key chest, which will be a simple check with Cane of Samaria, at least one of those has to be some sort of item. Only finding dungeon items so far.
Jumpy Stalfos is jumpy. There's a sword. So Invictus now will be able to full clear this dungeon.
But chooses not to. Maybe he'll hope to find a second sword on the bumper ledge first. No, he checked that on his way over here.
He did, yeah.
What is he doing?
He's gonna go down and fight Blind, who's easier to kill with one sword.
Okay.
I would do the same, honestly. Mothula terrifies me.
Oh, he didn't actually come in here for Fire Rod yet. Of course.
Oh, that's true. I guess you have to have the fire rod. You can't use the lamp, can you? Because that one, yeah, you have to have the fire rod. We're silly. Now he can go clear Mothula, and it looks like he's mirroring out to do that.
Yeah, this is an objectively good decision from his perspective.
Yeah, he doesn't know that the Titan's mitts are in there.
Yeah.
Where do we want to see silver arrows at?
Ganon's Tower, big chest.
A chest that's not normally checked. I like it.
So, what Chexhuman is looking for right now, as far as item requirements, he will need a second sword, and he does not yet know whether or not he'll need Quake. Everything else, as far as bare bones requirements go, he's got some nice luxury items would be half magic, silver arrows, even a third sword upgrade.
Yeah, the jump between Master Sword and Tempered Sword on that Ganon fight is huge. And in Butters, it's not quite as big, but it's also great to have. Nice bonk strats to get over that roller there. I like that.
Yeah, while you're in that little bounce animation, you're immune to damage, so making good use of that knowledge.
Thought Mothula was gonna troll Invictus there for a while, stand high, but he came down for him. Or she came down. It came down.
I think Mothra is a girl.
Makes sense.
Maybe Mothula is her love interest. So, we don't know. Could go either way, I guess.
Could. Here we go, laser bridge check. Technically, oh, I guess this isn't in logic because they have the safeties.
Yeah, these 4 chests that Chexhuman is picking up, the item placement logic will look for either cape or blue cane or a 3rd shield upgrade.
Invictus made good work out of that Mothula. Much better work than I would have done, I can tell you that much. Using just the hammer, didn't even switch to the fire rod. He's gonna jump back in to get that last chest there, and then probably mirror out and go down to... Gosh, I don't know. Ice Palace, perhaps? Making good progress on this Trinex fight over here.
Yeah, Chexhuman wants to get to this ice head and incapacitate it before it pees on the rug and causes all kinds of lag.
Oh yeah, that's a nightmare.
Yeah, and making really good use of his magic, not even having to worry about using the blue pot, which he had for backup.
Good double hit with that sword swing. Spin, rather.
And maybe Invictus will head straight back into Thieves' Town and get that gold glove. Seems to be the case.
Yeah, he's making a good choice there. That was a beautiful Trinex fight by Chexhuman. And he's rewarded with nothing for his trouble.
Well, a crystal.
Well, Krista, that's fair.
So now, Invictus, once he picks up that gold glove, will basically be in go-ish mode.
Osh.
He will need a sword upgrade, and he may or may not need Quake. But once he gets Gold Glove, he can find out which medallions he needs. So, you know, I don't know. Already having to dip into this dungeon twice, maybe he doesn't even want to leave. And necessity of coming back a 3rd time, even up in the air. Or maybe he'll try to make a play and get out of here as fast as possible without clearing it. I don't know.
Looks like Chex is gonna go right into Skullwoods. I thought he might check Mystery Mire, but alas.
Yeah, it's 3 overworld items and gets to know which medallion he needs. So a lot of runners will opt to check that early, but as we mentioned before, when you can full clear a crystal dungeon and know that you're getting everything out of it, it's never a bad decision.
Correct. And I follow this rule, and I think a lot of other runners do as well. If you enter a dungeon, you kind of want to clear it as best you can with what you've got. Just to eliminate on the possibility of triple dipping and quadruple dipping, gosh.
Okay, Invictus says, I got what I needed out of here this time, and I'm peacing out. But this situation is slightly different because he can look at his inventory and see that he's got everything, barring a possible medallion. Okay, very wisely going to check Misery Mire first.
There we go. Here we go. You can check the shed and the medallion and the checkerboard cave before even going in.
Yeah, we didn't get a look at that medallion yet.
No. Plenty of money now.
Where was that when I could have had Moon Pearl? And it's Quake, what a troll. But hey, it could be over here.
I have seen Quake be required and then be in Checkerboard Cave before.
Just a different yellow circle. So, cake at Dig Spot, huh, guys? Did I say cake? I meant
Cake?
Quake.
You did say cake.
The Quake is the lie.
Oh no.
Okay, so, yet again following the rule, I can full clear Crystal Dungeon, Invictus will head into Ice Palace. And
I've been thinking this is going to be the play for a little bit now, and it looks like it might have to be the play.
Dipping out of Thieves Town early did definitely cut down on Chex's lead significantly. Now, Invictus still has to do Turtle Rock. That's the big advantage that Chex has right now.
If Invictus finds what he's looking for in here, though, he can go mode Turtle Rock, which isn't a huge difference, but he can skip that laser bridge at least.
Right, and one would assume that he's going to at least get the Master Sword on Death Mountain Overworld before heading in there.
Ticklish penguins. Ticklish penguins everywhere. Chex gets a sword.
Yeah, so now he's got the Master Sword, which is the minimum sword requirement for beating the game. He's going to check on Misery Mire and find that he's still not in go mode.
But he's not gonna. Yeah, he's not gonna find anything else over here.
So he had some pretty efficient overworld checks from Invictus on his way to Skull Woods. So not much, if anything, left on the overworld, unless you count Mimic Cave, well, which was checked by Chex. So is there even a single place that Quake can be outside of Ice Palace right now? Other than
Vanilla. By vanilla, I mean Quakefish. Catfish. I don't believe
Invictus
that.
did indeed
Did you
check
see that?
Catfish
Oh, did he?
on his
Oh, I
way
missed
to
that.
The Dark Graveyard, yes. It could be that dig spot, guys. I mean, there are 3 items in Ice Palace. Invictus and Chex will both check all of them. And Chex actually has the knowledge of Shovel right now that I don't believe Invictus has.
That's correct. Oh, what about the other tablet? I don't think anybody's gone up to that one.
Chex would have had the opportunity, though. Maybe he didn't.
And
Now,
then
that could
there's
be-
the mushroom also. We haven't turned that in.
Ah, that's true.
Invictus doesn't have the knowledge from the pedestal.
He actually did check the pedestal.
Oh, you're right. He did check.
After doing the overworld Village of Outcasts. So Invictus set up the bomb jump, hoping that he would have finished clearing the dungeon by the time he got to this point, which I guess he did, because I don't think he had map or compass. Or maybe he had one. I think he had maybe one of them. So he's hoping that the other is in Ice Tea Room, which is...
The room that looks like a T.
Yeah, did he even...
He only has the
cross?
compass. I don't think so. He's gonna go far.
Oh, he got Quake already.
So yeah, he must have got it. Well, it's after the bomb jump. I know that.
Well, so much for Quake being on Shovel or Ether Tablet. Well, that's not quite go mode for either runner. It will be as soon as Chex picks up that Quake, which is going to be very soon. And Invictus really only just needing a sword upgrade after this, but
He'll find the one on the. Oh gosh.
yeah, so he's going for spin strats. Now, the fighter sword spins are only equivalent to a level 2 sword, whereas if he were to bust his hammer out, that's equivalent to a level 3 sword. And against this particular boss, the fire rod, if he can refill his magic, is equivalent to a level 4 sword.
I always thought those puffs looked like Krakow from Kirby.
Without the spikes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he shaved.
It'd be like Kraka, the
Crack
female
it.
version, because it has less sparks.
It could be like the little guys that Krakow spits out.
There you go.
The mini Krakows.
Is this where? Nope, that's not it. That's a small heart. I was wondering if that's where he found Quake.
Invictus gonna do a little potion shopping here.
How come we
He'll-
don't call this room the Ice H room?
I do.
Oh, okay. Potion shopping is never a bad idea, if you ask me.
Yeah, still
Unless you're a
rocking
fairy
that fighter
person.
sword. Vitreous will not be easy unless he can aim his arrows really well. So 3 blue potions going in there. Definitely a good call. And I think he pretty much has to do Misery Mire at this point, yeah. He's gonna say, I'm gonna find a sword somewhere along the way. I'm not even gonna look for anything anymore. And when you put Turtle Rock as your final dungeon, it saves you from having to climb Death Mountain an extra time.
Right. I answered you without push to talking. So Victus is going to stop the storm. Oh, never mind. The murder dactyl is gonna be all up in there.
Yeah, unfortunately, Quake does not affect the Murder Dactyl. As we all know, ground attacks are ineffective against flying Pokemon.
It's true.
And Chexhuman definitely has the heart lead here.
Yeah, by 4? Yeah.
And that will remain the case since Invictus is not going to check any unnecessary spots, except maybe those ones in Dark Death Mountain. And for his sake, I hope he pops in there before doing Turtle Rock. But either way, I don't think he'll be entering Ganon's tower with that white Fisher-Price sword.
One could hope now.
And we see already the convenience of having just that one sword upgrade for Cold Stare.
The reach alone is a huge
Oh,
upgrade
man.
on that sword.
Oh, it's the Andy Big Key. So there's a very, very difficult to execute glitch known as hovering, where Invictus would have been able to go straight into the basement after finding the Big Key.
You can actually get that with the hook shot if you come from the other side, and then just walk off the ledge and go back to that bridge too.
Yeah, that's a play that we often see in Key Sanity, because in Key Sanity you may already have the big key coming into the dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, I mean, you just have to walk around a couple rooms if you don't do one of those strats.
I would explain how to hover, but I don't know how, so it's like a
allow
4-frame
me.
perfect thing.
So what happens is, while you're holding down the A button and dashing, could this be a sword upgrade or half magic or maybe even silvers for checks?
Oh no, I guess Invictus doesn't have the mushroom. He didn't do this.
Just bombs. But routing this in with your run-of-the-mill potion shopping, that's a pretty good play. So the game only checks to see if you're over a pit while you have the A button released, and it doesn't check the first frame. So if you release the A button for a single frame and then quick press the A button again, the game won't ever realize that you're hovering over a pit. Now this can only be done if you have the Pegasus boots, and it's extremely difficult to do, and the bigger the gap is you're trying to get across, the more tired your arm gets as you're trying to pull off this trick. So only a few runners There are maybe several runners that can sort of do it, and maybe 2 or 3 runners that are consistently good at it. Andy being the most notable.
Some would call it cheating. They're not correct. It is not cheating. It is an allowed glitch, but people will still tell him that he's cheating. But more often than not, hovering doesn't get you super far ahead, especially if you're not like 100% consistent with it, because you'll want to try it again if you fall down, and then you'll want to try it again if you fall down.
But if you are consistent with it, you can count on it. There's maybe like a 1% chance it would even be useful at any point. And Chex, very
it's quicker than walking, I gotta say it.
Yeah. So we saw a hover attempt from Chexhuman, proving just how difficult that trick is.
It's like he heard us.
But there are some places, and there is a very slim possibility that it gives you a monumental advantage. For instance, if Swamp Palace is a pendant and you can't find Hookshot anywhere, now Hookshot would normally be required to cross some of the gaps in Ganon's tower, but if you can do this hovering glitch, you can skip the necessity for Hookshot, and well, I guess if it wouldn't
You
be
could
on
skip
pedestal.
Moldorm 2 completely with that. That's
Yeah.
usually where the most use is actually skipping that entire boss fight.
Right, that's the one point in the game outside of Swamp Palace, and outside of getting some overworld chests, the one point in the game where the hookshot is absolutely required, unless you can do the hovering. Alright, good, so we're gonna get that sword upgrade for Invictus. He's probably still gonna have to use the hammer against Trinex, but he can at least feel better doing it.
It's all about the feels, man. I'm gonna go into Hookshot Cave first, though.
Yeah. Chexhuman, I believe this is his final crystal. His final dungeon, in fact.
Final
He's got
dungeon,
all the
yeah.
penance.
Aside from Aghanim, he's cleared every boss.
Yeah, if this were the all dungeons mode, he would still have to do Aghanim. But he could actually do Aghanim after Ganon's tower. But he's not going to do that. He's just going to go to Ganon's tower as soon as he kills Vitreous.
So does that mean it's time for everybody's favorite game?
It sure is, and we'll just give a few seconds for the restream to catch up so that we can get the big key guessing game. Now, in Ganon's tower, there are 22 possible locations for the big key. Now, the first person to guess correctly, if you're a supporter of the Speed Gaming Network, which means sub to any one of the 6 Speed Gaming channels, or donated at least 250 bits across all 6 Speed Gaming channels, then you may participate and try to get on the leaderboards here.
You can participate anyway, you just won't be eligible for the leaderboard.
Yeah. So you can still have fun, but you can't get the glory.
I always pick chest number 8, and I saw somebody early on here picked it also, so props to you if you're the winner, and props to you even if you're not for picking my chest.
Is that the firebar chest in typical routing?
It is, yes.
I like that one, but I'm not ready for bed yet, so I'm going to say 22.
Nice. Yeah, I think I'd rather see a late one, but I have to go with 8. It's just what I do. Invictus is making short work of his Turtle Rock, and he'll already be up Death Mountain, so he won't have to climb it. That's going to save a little bit of time.
Being in go mode, we might see a little bit of a risk where he skips the big chest. There's a chance that a required key could be inside the big chest, but in order for that to be, since he's got the big key already, in order for that to be so, there has to be a small key on the pipe chest, and a small key in the big chest. Otherwise, he could steal the pokey key for the crystal roller room, and then one of the other 5 chests find a small key to get into Trinex's chambers. Alright, Chexhuman starting out with a standard GT route, gonna pick up the first 2 chests in the Room of Hope. We call it that because we hope to find the big key here.
Not today. Immediately mirrors out and gonna go left side. He did find a key. I'm surprised, actually, he didn't continue on the right side. Number 3 is a rupee, singular. There's silver arrows.
I was sort of right. I said they'd be in Ganon's tower.
There's tempered sword. Wow. Well, that's a room you don't want to skip today.
Yeah, what if the big key is on the right side and
Just trimmed about a minute off the Ganon fight. Here we go, chest number 8.
Ah, thanks for playing, Spoonie. Yeah, so even if Invictus realizes
Skip
that
the
he's
key.
behind... Oh, goes back for it.
Went back
Even
for
if
it.
Invictus realizes that he's behind and somehow makes a brilliant play to find big key on the right side, that means he's missing out on a sword upgrade and silver arrows, so it would honestly be a really troll thing for him to get an early big key.
Yeah,
And
but
he does
that's the
have that
nature of
extra key.
gambling.
He does have that extra key, so he can straight up skip Laser Bridge. Maybe he will, maybe he won't, if he's hoping to find a sword upgrade.
Here we go in the rando room. So called because in an NMG route, you never have to go to this room.
Alright, and the favorite chest of one of my best friends coming up, Bob's chest, and we will be seeing Bob today, since
Yes.
Chex did not pick up the torch. For those not in the know, Bob is a glitched anti-fairy that can appear in Ganon's tower if you don't pick up the item that's on top of the torch. And since it was only rupees, Chex decided to let Bob live. How
Invictus is
benevolent.
going for the laser bridge, though. He's going for all the chests.
Yeah, again, looking for that sword upgrade or maybe silver arrows.
Ooh, Bob does not get to live.
Well, he just teleports across the room.
Oh, okay. A nice, clean Ice Armos fight. That you couldn't ask for a better fight there.
Ooh, so Chex does not find the big key on the left side or at Ice Armors. And he might be in the mindset, some players will go right side first if they find a small key. I found a small key and didn't do it. And that might put a little bit of fear in him.
Could start to see some mistakes from that fear.
You know what strat would pay off in this particular Ganon's Tower layout? Dark Magician's strat. Dark Magician, beloved friend, one of the old tournament organizers from way back in the day. He was famous for checking that mini Stalfos room first and then going the right side. So he would have gotten the sword upgrade and the arrows and then come over and gotten the big keys. This was a seed built for him.
Those Gibdos are really trolling Chex here.
Yeah. He's got 2 small keys, so he's not going to have to go through the teleporter. Ah, I was off by 1.
Oh, there it is, though.
Whoever guessed 21, congratulations. Or I should say, the first person to guess 21, congratulations. You will be added to the Speed Gaming Big Key Guessing Game leaderboards.
And you have our congratulations.
And you have Spoonie's congratulations. And my respect. And my salutations.
Oh, there you go. Sometimes that's better than congratulations. Making short work of the gauntlet here, or the beginning of it at least. Alright, and Invictus is now entering Ganon's tower. He's got a lot of ground to catch up, but it can be done. Making short work of these dudes in the gauntlet rooms over here. Impressed by checks so far. Invictus is going to go right side first.
Oh, so that's gonna mean no silvers.
He's not even gonna give those guys a chance. Just gonna smack them with the fire rod. I had to throw one out there. I thought maybe you'd approve.
I salute you. You get my congratulations.
Thank you. I never can get that to work for me. Good job, Chexhuman. You're better than Spoonie.
So was it Taymot 2009, I believe, that won the guessing game here? I do congratulate you. Congratulations.
See all the commentators on the pedestal. Yeah, I could be locked in the pedestal. Gotta stop up top here to get that magic refill. And Invictus is going through without the silvers, so he's gonna have a longer Ganon fight for him, but he will be, well, he might still be able to find a sword. And maybe he'll go for the hover on Moldorm again.
It looked like he was kind of doing it.
Yeah, he might have been. I don't know. And Chex is going to skip over that chest. As well as the other.
Even with Butter Sword possibly being in there, not going to be that big a deal.
Not when you have Tempered. If I'm Invictus, I'm checking that chest. But for Chex, no, I would probably not have. Here we go, Aghanim fight. Aga 2, specifically. Ooh.
I didn't hear the sound effect.
Was 2. I think it was 2.
It looked like it was 3. They were spread out enough, but I only heard twice.
Yeah, I only heard 2 more. Oh. So 2-1-0 it looks like. There's 3. Or
I guess
2.
Was it 3-1-0-2 then?
It must have been.
So. It might have just been blocked out by a sword beam sound.
That could be. He still has massive heart lead on Invictus, but Invictus did find 4 or 5 more.
Wow. Yeah, heart lead, sword lead, and arrow lead.
I always think that hole looks like a chicken or a cuckoo.
It's bat shaped. Didn't you see the bat crash?
I know it's supposed to be a bat, but it looks like a chicken.
I mean, a bat is kind of like a dark chicken.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I guess a dark chicken would be more like the ones in Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, just the skeletons.
So Invictus is giving it all he's got. He's really gaining some ground here. It's just unfortunately that he's going to have quite a difficult Ganon fight. And
But again, he could come across that fourth sword upgrade. We never did see where it was. It's not going to give him silvers, but it could help. And I do believe with red mail, a simple hug from Ganon will still do 4 hearts of damage, correct?
I want to say 3.
Oh, is it 3? Okay.
I'm really not sure.
Well, for
Oh,
Chex's
this could
sake, I hope we don't find
did
him.
he-
Almost got the
oh,
sword
this could be
glitch.
it. This could be the Dream Phase 4 with
Ooh!
the initial hit before the torch goes out and then a triple. Chexhuman does take down the big pig, and we'll be walking into that Triforce chamber very soon, hopefully.
Hopefully he doesn't fall off. Okay.
Alright, Chexhuman finishes in first place and actually lost the race channel. Hang on a second.
He has an official time of 1:45:46.
Okay. So yeah, congratulations to tonight's winner, Chexhuman. You can go ahead and invite him on in if he wants to give us a quick interview.
Oh, and there it is. Invictus did find another sword upgrade.
And half magic. Wow, the last 2 chests paying off. The half magic doubly appealing since he doesn't have the silver arrows, so he can be a little bit reckless in that dark phase for Ganon. And were we able to get Chexhuman in here for an interview?
Not yet.
Alright, so probably taking a breather. Even wants to stretch, wants to shake out the nerves. See. Okay, congratulations to Chexhuman, our winner for the night.
GG, Chex.
Yeah, right before Invictus got into, I'd say, Moldorm 2 area, he walks into that Triforce room. How you feeling tonight?
Hi,
Hello.
am I audible?
Yes.
Indeed you are, and
GG.
congratulations.
Thanks, Gigi.
So
How are you feeling tonight?
That was a pretty fun seed. Being swordless for so long and then thinking I just needed sword upgrades.
Being swordless and still managing to finish 15 minutes before the 2-hour mark, that's pretty solid. What did you think was your favorite play, your favorite decision in your routing overall for the whole seed?
Oh, probably Swamp, early Swamp. Actually, Moon Pearl leading into Swamp was pretty silly.
Yeah, spending
So
that
that-
extra time to farm rupees to check the
I
Zora
don't
item
know.
definitely paid off, huh?
It seemed like it.
It was really interesting because Invictus opted not to farm rupees for Zora, so he ends up going to Eastern earlier and getting the flute. So he has the movement advantage while you have the progression advantage, and it was unclear, at least early on, who had made the better decision. But then you managed to get the flute not too long after that, pretty much right after you did Swamp Palace. Went on into the
Yeah,
pendant dungeon.
That's right. I forgot Flute was that early. In the seed. Sorry, I guess my internet connection just dropped a bit, but I should be here.
Yeah, we
yeah,
can still hear you.
that was a fun. Going to pod for just a book was not really necessary at all. It led to a shovel which digs up who knows what.
Yeah, but the book allowed you to read the pedestal and realize you had wasted your time in pod. There's that.
Yes, there was that. True.
I don't know. Did you check the ether tablet? I don't think either runner did, but we found all of the sword upgrades: 3 bottles, red mail, silver arrows. So,
Oh,
Alright,
that's
I think this is-
interesting.
Finished Ganon off.
I did not check Ether because I felt like it was going to be useless. I didn't think I would need Quake, and I had already forgotten that I needed another medallion.
And Invictus has an official SRL time of 1 hour, 51 minutes, and 44 seconds.
and here he is right now. Congratulations on completion, Invictus. A really close race here. Already well on your way to Aghanim 2 and Chexhuman hit that dot done.
Yeah, it was a pretty good race, man. I give you a lot of credit, Chex. Well done.
GG. That was a fun seed.
Yeah, it was. It was really fun, actually.
I'm just curious for you, Invictus. How did you feel like you were ahead or behind or
Behind the whole time.
Behind the whole time. Okay.
Behind the whole
Whole
time.
time.
Where was the exact moment you thought you were behind when you said, "Oh crap, I need to gain some ground here"?
Moon Pearl, whole time.
Yeah, okay. That's the obvious answer, isn't it?
Yeah, 478 rupees, man. 478 rupees.
Yeah. I think Invictus was at 494 going into Zora's domain, so
Oh my god, it was painful.
a
So
little
painful.
Oh,
a little easier of a decision to farm, but still the Zoras were not being friendly to him.
it was a perfect setup for me to get lower and lower value rupees. Since I think I had 407. Did you just say that? 474?
Yeah, something like
I
that.
got that red, and then the blue, and then the green.
Oh, I didn't actually see you catch the red. I thought you were at 494 going in.
Yeah, the red was right outside of the Zora's domain, and that encouraged me to keep farming.
Wow, that was convenient and very
Yeah,
well timed.
There was
unfortunately.
there was a minute when you were at 499 exactly, and you were not getting any drops for a second. We were begging for it. We were begging.
So we have 166 out of 216 items collected for Chexhuman, just over 75%. So that's actually, I'd say, on the low end here.
It's certainly on the low end for an entrance Kisanity seed or something of the like.
Well, okay. In this particular case, where almost all of the progression was inside crystal dungeons, then, you know, it makes sense to see a number that low. Explosion Boy explodes again. Explosion Boy. Okay, so with this victory, Chexhuman goes on to 4-2, just looking for that final W to make it out of the Swiss round, and Invictus will go to 3-3, and not necessarily counted out yet. It depends on how things shake up in the last couple rounds and whether some moves need to be made with the 5 wins, but it's looking a little tight for you, and still 3 wins so far. Definitely, you got to feel good about that, Invictus.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I've entered the tournament not having any sort of a high aspirations, so to be at this point 500, I'm pretty thrilled. I mean, even if I am technically by the numbers eliminated at this point, I mean, I don't think I could lose even if I lost my match next week. I'd consider it a victory for me. So
awesome, really good attitude. Look forward to seeing you
Exactly.
in future tournaments. And Chexhuman, it's still early in the week, so we don't know who the 4-2 runners are, but it's going to be the last round of Swiss stage. You're going to be in the position of do or die, and your opponent's going to be in do or die, and it's going to be just a huge bloodbath. Any particular runner that you would not like to lose a friendship over that's around the same record as you?
You know what? I'm not sure. Whatever happens will be interesting. It's fun to make new friends, to lose friendships over too. So we'll see.
A great
It's
attitude
all-
to have, also.
All in good fun. Definitely, if you're interested in Link to the Past Randomizer, pretty much everybody who runs Link to the Past Randomizer and is participating, and particularly those helping out in the tournament, are very friendly and very welcoming to new players. So I think there's a chat command to help you get started. So ALTTPR. Yeah, so there's a bunch of links there for the tournament and all, but you see that last link, play it yourself. You can actually join along, and if you join our Discord server, literally hundreds of people will be just sitting there waiting to help you out and welcome you in and to help, tell you what you need to do to get started. So let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule, and while I am doing so, make sure everybody goes to the Speed Gaming channels and gives them all a follow, because
1 through
Link to the
6.
Past is not... Yeah, there's 6. A Link to the Past is not the only thing we do here. If you scroll down onto the little panel or go to the Speed Gaming website, you can see all the tournaments. One thing that we just added to our repertoire, which I'm really excited about, is a weekly Final Fantasy IV randomizer race. So that's going to start in June, so I think 2 weeks from Thursday.
There is currently another rando race going on over on, I think, Speed Gaming 1?
I think that's Emo Saru's race?
Correct, yeah. I think it's on 1.
Yes. Wow, on Wednesday. Okay. Yeah, it's Sabotenda versus Emo Saru.
They're almost an hour into their seed.
Yeah.
Make sure to give all the Speed Gaming channels a follow, as well as the 4 ALTTPR channels.
Yeah, it looks like pretty much going to be wrapping up a little bit early on the Speed Gaming networks today and Link to the Past in general, but this is round 6 in the Swiss tournament. Sure to get some close races coming up throughout the week, so keep your eye on that schedule. And any final words you'd like to add for us, Spoonie?
I just want to say once again, GG to both the runners. Make sure you stop in their channels, give them a follow, stick around for a little bit, see them practicing. Shout outs to Cross Product for helping me out here tonight. That was awesome.
Yeah, and thanks for
Lot of
joining
fun.
me. I really had a blast.
Yeah, and hopefully see everybody at the next race.
All right. Very good. And also, real quick, there's also a link. There's ALTTP randomizer channels as well. I think 1 through 4.
Yeah, 1 through
so
4.
some of our tournament races will be on there, so we'll give them a quick plug. And as always, thank you to the Speed Gaming staff. Thank you to the trackers and the restreamers who do a ton of work behind the scenes. You can give those guys a follow as well. And I will see you later this week. Everybody have yourselves a great night.